Neighborhood Board,
To mute your laptop.
1 second.
No, your volume.
Okay, better. Thank you. So calling Waianae Coast Neighborhood Board meeting to order. It is now 6:32. And I believe we have quorum. We have 2 board members online and 3 in person. And then does anybody want to say Pule? Or I will go ahead and. Okay, if we can just bow our heads. Heavenly Father, we just come before you and we thank you, Lord God, for every opportunity to participate as a community collaboratively, Lord God, to go over the issues, concerns that we have as a community, and most importantly, the solutions to resolve those issues, Father God. We thank you for all the ideas as we come together in unity, Father God, to discuss that, and we stay in Kapu Aloha always. Thank you for our keiki that we are raising up in this village. And again, every opportunity to serve you and bring them up in your ways, Father God. We thank you for this opportunity. And our board members, everybody that is traveling here and traveling home, just let everyone travel home safely after tonight. We thank you for a productive meeting in advance, and we ask all these things. Anybody that's traveling as well, one of our board members is out of state. And we just thank you for your hand upon each and every one of us. In the Master's name of Jesus, amen.
Oh,
That's why he's not saying Pule tonight.
God.
Okay, so we are going to move right along with our city emergency and first responders. So if we have Honolulu Fire Department.
Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
All right, I'm firefighter Noah Leggett from the Waianae Fire Station. So first I'm gonna go over the incident statistics for March, the month of March. So for fires, structure fires, we had 1. Wildland brush fires, we had 1. Nuisance, we had 10. 0 cooking fires, and 2 activated alarms. For emergencies, we had 169 medicals, 4 motor vehicle collisions, and 2 mountain rescues. Next, I'm going to go over the fire safety tip. For this month, it's going to cover evacuation planning. So have an emergency preparedness plan ready in case of an environmental emergency, fire, or natural disaster. Know 2 ways out of your home and consider the route you would take if you need to evacuate from your neighborhood due to an emergency. You can visit Honolulu or fire.honolulu.gov to learn more. Leave early enough to avoid being caught in fire, smoke, or road congestion. Establish a predetermined location such as a well-prepared neighbor or relative's house, a low-risk area, or a shelter or evacuation center. And lastly, take your emergency supply kit containing your family and pets' necessary items. So with that, I'm open to any questions you guys might have.
Mahalo, thank you. I do have a question. Is the fire department facility, it looks like it's in use, but I just wanted, if we can just announce, are you guys like
Yes, we're back at our actual fire station now.
Awesome, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Board member Crab.
Hi, yes. Quick question. For as we go about into summer and with everything that happened with Lahaina and us as a state still recovering and us as a community still having worries about wildfires here, do you folks feel confident that we are prepared heading into summer where the conditions for wildfires may increase?
Yes, yes. I feel like we're definitely prepared.
Thank you.
You have Board Member Vahilani online.
Aloha, thank you for showing up, HFD. We appreciate you guys. My question was, that brush fire that was on the report, where in Waianae the brush fire was located at?
I'm sorry, where was it? You said?
The brush fire that you had mentioned that was on your report. Where was it located at?
I don't have that answer for you right now, but I can look into it and have it brought up at the next month's board meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Mahalo. Any other board members with questions? Community, if you guys have any questions, you can feel free to line up at the microphone for Honolulu Fire Department. And then next we have Honolulu Police Department. Thank you so much, Honolulu Fire Department, for being here tonight.
Ready. Thank you.
I will forward any questions via email. Thank you. Or Corporal Pagan, who's
Hi, good evening, Madam Chair, members of the
Good evening.
community, and board members. I'm Officer Fagan, the Honolulu Police Department, District 8 Community Policing, and I have your stats for March. In March, we had 32 motor vehicle thefts, 5 in our area, 12 burglaries, 6 in our area, 113 thefts, 23 in our area, 37 unauthorized entries into a motor vehicle, 13 in our area. There's a total of 426 citations issued, total of 7,037 calls for service, and 1,784 in our area. I'm open to any comments, questions, or concerns.
Mahalo, Corporal Pagan. Board members, any questions?
I got a question.
Okay, Board Member Vahilani?
Hey, Corporate Pagan, always good to see you, brother. My question was there any final findings on the death of Darren Benitez?
That I don't know. They wouldn't release it to us for
Is that-
public information. That's all. I really wouldn't know.
Also, there's no way that we could find out, or unless it's still under investigation, or that's just protocol.
Yeah, they don't, I mean, unless it's some type of crime, they don't normally announce it publicly, how people pass away. Unless there was some type of crime involved, or the family wants to announce that type of information.
Yeah, I did check on that actually, and there were no additional cases made to that death, so I believe it's going to stand as a natural cause of death, at least up to now. Yeah.
Thank you. We always do together, so I just wanted. Thanks, Sergeant. Thanks, Colonel. Roland. Aloha.
Okay, Board Member Kalei Wilbur?
Thank you. You know that the unauthorized entries to the private vehicles, is that a specific geographical location that those happened, or where are those primarily?
The numbers that we gave is for what we call Sector 1, so from Miley Point west. I don't have the exact locations. If you have to go onto the honolulupd.org website, you can go to crime mapping and they would have the information there. But the reports that we run, it doesn't necessarily show exactly where within the sector those cases are. When we do get crime stats, and like say we have if we have a threshold of 5 and they go over 5 and say like KLs or a particular location, then they would let us know, and we'd start doing crime mapping and a crime analysis as far as any type of trends. But as far as we know, there's no real trend going on at the time.
Just random then.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mahalo. Board members, any other questions? Community, any questions for Honolulu Police Department? Okay, so we are moving right along, and thank you, Corporal Pagan and Sergeant Fumi, for being here. I will connect with you guys offline. I have your guys' holiday signs still, and a few questions as far as community. One of them is actually I'll just ask it real quick and then I'll follow up with an email. If we do a special meeting for DLNR, they're asking if our city law enforcement can also be present so that we can hear from both sides as far as jurisdiction and law enforcement is concerned. So I'll follow up with an email on when that meeting is held and if you guys are able to attend
Okay,
so we can connect
Thank you.
offline. Thank
Okay.
you.
thank you.
Thank you again. Stay safe out there. We appreciate
Thank
you.
you.
And thank you for coming to Waianae Cares. Sorry, I didn't know. I got the text message afterwards, but thank you guys for your attendance in our community.
No problem. Thank you.
Okay, and then we are moving on to recognitions, agenda item number 4. So we have Makaha Elementary Robotics Team. So I'm going to read off the certificates and for the instructors as well. And when your name is called, if you guys can just join us up here so we can get a photo, but also so our board members can present the lays as well. But we appreciate you guys and we just wanted to say awesome job in all that you guys are doing. So all of their certificates says the same thing. The only thing that is different is their grade, their name, and their team name. So certificate of recognition on behalf of the Waianae Coast Neighborhood Board, number 24, recognizing, so this one is Logan, Mishima, Donahue, grade 3, Mighty Giants. The Waianae Coast Neighborhood Board, number 24, is immensely proud to recognize the Makaha Elementary robotics team for their exceptional dedication and hard work in their after-school robotics program, competing in multiple local competitions and now being invited to compete abroad in Texas at the end of April is a remarkable achievement. We are honored to have such talented and dedicated individuals representing our community. Your success reflects not only your hard work, but also the support and encouragement of your teachers, mentors, families, and the entire community. As you embark on this exciting journey to Texas, please know that the Waianae Coast Neighborhood Board number 24 stands behind you wholeheartedly. We are rooting for you every step of the way and have full confidence in your ability to shine on the international stage. Go Makaha Elementary Robotics Team, you make us proud. So Logan, thank you so much. The next certificate goes to Jacob Mephi. Sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong. Machado, a grade 4 Mighty Giants. Philip. Thank you. The next certificate is to Ryan Pierce, grade 4 Mighty Giants. Robert Abad Santos, grade 6 Mighty Giants. Damian Avial, grade 6 Mighty Giants. Damian, awesome. Kamakani Samson, grade 4 Gorilla Bradas. Paris Avial, grade 5 Gorilla Bradas. Xander Vivao Oliver, grade 5 Gorilla Bradas. Awesome. Isaiah Abad, grade 6 Gorilla Bradas. Jonathan Pierce, grade 6 Gorilla Bradas. Kaylin Mephi Machado, grade 6 Chibi Dragons. Chibi Dragons. Everlina Vivao Oliver, grade 6 Chibi Dragons. Ireli Vakinekona Kahuna Nui, grade 6 Chibi Dragons. Awesome, thank you. Joseph Lin, grade 6 Chibi Dragons. Awesome. And then I'm just gonna read the certificates to their teachers. Waianae Neighborhood Board number 24, the Waianae Coast Neighborhood Board number 24 is proud to recognize Thelma Maderos, a dedicated Kumu of Makaha Elementary Robotics, for her tireless efforts in leading the after-school robotics program. Her commitment to nurturing and guiding our keiki in robotics education has been truly commendable. Through her guidance, support, and mentorship, the Makaha Elementary robotics teams have flourished, competing in numerous local competitions and now earning the opportunity to showcase their skills on an international stage in Texas at the end of April. We extend our heartfelt gratitude to these exceptional instructors, or as we fondly call them, Kumus, for their unwavering dedication to our children's growth and development. Your hard work and dedication have not only enriched the lives of our keiki, but have also brought immense pride to our community. As representatives of the Waianae Coast Neighborhood Board number 24, we are honored to recognize and celebrate your achievements. Know that we are standing firmly behind you, cheering you on as you embark on this exciting journey. Go Makaha Elementary Robotics. Teachers, you inspire us all. So that's for Mrs. Maderos. And then we also have Mrs. Jessica Mishima Donahue. Yay. Awesome. Thank you. You guys, awesome job in all your endeavors. Recess? We will recess for 5 minutes, so we can do a photo and then they can be on their way as they have school tomorrow. So recess, we will be back at 6:53.
I type them out.
Can we just have you guys join us up front here? Parents, you guys can get in on the photo as well. No? Sorry, Board Member Kalei Wilbur, did you have a question?
Yeah, it was. You mentioned that they're invited to Texas to do a to further their competition. Um,
Yes.
are they doing any fundraisers or anything like that? That the
Mrs. Donahue, did you wanna come in or go to the mic and answer? We have one of the instructors present, so maybe she can just share how the community can help in if you guys are fundraising or if you guys already met your. So just introduce yourself for the record.
Hi, I'm Jessica Mishima Donahue. I'm actually our STEAM teacher and after school coach for the robotics team. We are still fundraising, but we can't actually officially go out and solicit for donations. I don't know. So if I don't even know how to word it. So I guess my husband
Well-
can try. He's been doing robotics a little bit longer than me. You got to introduce yourself.
Yes. Please.
Hi, Franklin Donahue. I'm the robotics coach for Waianae Intermediate School. When it comes to donations for the DOE, unfortunately, we cannot go out and solicit companies because of the DOE policy and whatnot. Now, if anybody wants to actually go to the school and donate on behalf of themselves, all we need is just a donation letter saying that you're donating it to specifically for her, Makaha Robotics. Basically just saying that I'm donating this money to Makaha Robotics. Please make sure this gets to them and just kind of sign off on it. That way, the school itself can write a donation letter to you to basically write off any taxes kind of thing. But that's the only way the DOE can accept money outside of 503B, which I am currently working on. So
Chair,
Awesome. Thank you so much.
can I ask a question?
Okay. Does that answer your question?
Well,
Board Member
that's
Wu?
the reason why I asked the question is because DOE standards, so open the opportunity for them to
Mahalo.
not necessarily solicit, but they are able to share what they needed to share. Thank you.
But we have one more question. Board Member Lanford.
Yeah, I guess my question is how much funds were you looking at to, for donations?
We are still short about $10,000. So,
Okay.
and
Okay,
we
can-
have about 2.5 weeks to get it. So,
Second question is, can companies in the community donate to you guys, or is there restrictions, or is there any guidelines that that they need to follow? Because I've been on various boards from Nanakuli and Waianae since 2008. So there is different organizations in the community that would give, but there's I guess there's a ceiling on how much they can give. So, I don't want to, see them give something and it's rejected and stuff. So that's the only reason.
So
So,
I think I can answer that question. So Waianae Meeting has been going to Worlds for the past couple of years now. And when we actually had people from companies donate, they usually have to go through our principals first, just to make sure that we're all on the up and up and all the forms are signed correctly. So if you do, as a company, want to reach out and donate to the school, I would suggest calling the school first directly to make sure you have a conversation with the principal and kind of go it from that way. Waianae Intermediate has had donations from Hawaiian Electric back in 2019, 2020, when we first got invited to Worlds. But that, like I said, was started with a conversation with our principal.
okay. Thank you. I'll try to see, if they're, because there's 4 companies, back in 2010 that they were deemed by the city, to put a kitty together for the community, certain communities that they were doing business in. One of them was Hawaiian Electric. It was due to the so-called toxic type of company they have. So giving back to the community was number one on their list and stuff. So it's like $1.5 million way back in 2010. However, somewhere the thing got trickled down to someplace else in the city. So, but I know these companies, really want to help the community out and stuff like that. So I don't know. I'll just find out what's the scoop is, and then I'll probably email somebody from you guys' unit to try to contact them, guys.
We can
Thank you.
definitely connect offline for
Thank you.
sure.
That'd be the best bet.
Thank you, Mr. Lanford. So normally, this isn't normal. We don't have questions after recognition, but we do want to make sure that we put this out there so that if we as a community can get involved, then we can. Kauko, who you have a question?
Yes, thanks, sir. This goes out to the teachers. Congratulations with good work for teaching our Nakeki.
Yeah.
Have you folks tried reaching out to QLT, Queen Liliuokalani Trust, because their mission is for the Nakeki o Kaino, Nakeki o Hawaiiane. So that might be a place that you folks could reach out to,
Really quickly, I
and
think
so yeah.
we cannot,
just
they
wanted to say
cannot
that.
solicit any funds. That's the problem. So
Oh, they cannot?
you know,
Unless they go
can-
to a
as a DOE
501c3?
school. Yeah. So that's the clarification, is that because they're a DOE school, they cannot go and solicit these things. But if community wants to participate and get involved and donate, then that's my kai.
Ikino.
But again, thank you guys so much. Okay. Yes, thank you guys. Awesome job. We are very proud of you guys. Thank you. Okay. We are gonna move up an agenda item just because I believe they are pressed for time. So we are moving up agenda item 6.1, Bristol Hospice. And any questions, she will leave her contact information after her presentation. And then also you can reach out to me if you need to reach her. She's also leaving some literature for us here in person. So we have, sorry, on our agenda, her name is Ursha, sorry, but on the agenda is not reflected correctly.
All right, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak on behalf of the Waianae Coast neighborhood community. Just wanted to share some opportunities for volunteer services out here. I'm from Bristol Hospice here in Hawaii, one of the largest hospice company, or here in on Oahu. I won't take too much of your time, but this is our mission. It's to advance the cause of hospice care for the terminally ill through education, engaging activities, and financial assistance. So the volunteers, the opportunity to become a volunteer is really important. When you do come on board as a volunteer, you will become a part of the IDT or the interdisciplinary team. And you get the opportunity to work with social workers, nurses, caregivers, so on and so forth. So where are our patients? We do have patients in their homes, and we also have patients in nursing homes. And a lot of these patients do reach out for volunteer services. And when I say volunteer services, we're talking about companionship. So you can participate in, writing out pen pal cards and delivering it to them or mailing it to them. But if you're interested in actually going in and provide somewhat direct services and talk stories with them, engage them in social activities, that's another option as well. We don't have much activities or commitment from the Waianae neighborhood, and that's why we thought we'd, come out here and share this opportunity with our lovely folks here on the Waianae side. So if this is something that you're interested in, this opportunity is indeed available. So, and just briefly, the different opportunities that we do provide when it comes to volunteer services is like I mentioned before, provide companionship to patients and their families, listen to the patient's concern. Of course, a lot of these patients are terminally ill. They're at the end of life experience. So having some of our volunteers come out to them and talk stories with them and engage them, it's actually soothing and very comforting for not only the patient, but also their families. Some things that our volunteers cannot do is we don't buy groceries, we don't engage them in direct care services. You don't handle any legal paperwork or prescriptions, can't really visit them more than once. When it comes to volunteer service hours, you're looking at anywhere between 1 to 2 hours per week if that's something that you are interested in. And of course, our volunteers are superheroes. We have a lot of volunteers from all walks of life. A lot of them have full-time jobs. They're either members of the community or they're vets, but a lot of them contribute to this platform of service within their community because they want to give back to their community. So they are people just like you and I. They have families, they have other commitments, but this is something that they just thought they want to engage themselves into. We do also have the teens program. We can open the opportunity for volunteer services all the way down to age 14. So if you have students in high school who are considering going to college and they want to go into the medical field, this is a great platform for them to partake in and be out in the field, like I've mentioned earlier, where they can be a part of that interdisciplinary team and work with social workers, nurses, and caregivers, and so on and so forth. So that's just a brief introduction about what we do here at Bristol's Hospice. If you are interested and you want to get back to the Waianae community, the opportunity is available. Please feel free to see me on the side. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you.
Mahalo, thank you. Board members, do we have any questions? Okay. Sure, go ahead. Board member.
No, I just wanted to comment really quickly. So recently I've had quite a bit of family members go through hospice, and all of them have had great experiences. My family has had great experiences with those services too. So I just want to thank you so much for your work because it's really important. Thank you.
Awesome. And then if you can just leave us your contact and we can forward that to anybody that has questions. Okay, and then we're going right back to board business, item number 5. So 5.1, approval of Tuesday, February 6th, 2024. Approval of March 5th, 2024, regular meeting minutes and special meeting minutes for Thursday, March 21st, 2024. I can have
I move to approve the minutes.
Very
Second.
second.
Okay, so motion moved to approve minutes by Board Member Crab and seconded by Board Member Perry. Any discussion? Okay, seeing none. So all in favor, say aye.
Very aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Okay, we got. And any abstentions? Okay, so I'm aye. Sorry. Board members, if in voting, could we just put our screens on if you're able to? So motion passes. Approval of minutes for February 6th, March 5th, and Thursday, March 21st. Okay, second item is approval of Tuesday, March 5th, 2024, and April 2nd, 2024 agendas. And again, these are the items that are carried from last month.
Board Member Crab moves.
Board Member Crab moves a motion to approve agendas for March 5th and April 2nd. Seconded
Hey,
by Board Member
Chair, I'm
Lanford.
having a hard time hearing you guys.
Okay. Can you hear me right now?
No, everything got real soft and I have volumes up and everything, so I don't know if it's on your guys' side.
Okay. Right now, everything seems to be functioning correctly.
Hey, member Clay Wilbur, can you hear me on this microphone?
I can barely hear you guys. Go continue. I'll bear with it.
Okay. Okay, so we have a motion on the floor to approve Tuesday, March 5th, 2024, and April 2nd agendas. It was moved by Member Crab and seconded by Member Lanford. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Harry
Aye.
abstain to both. Harry abstain to both. Thank you.
Okay. Any nays? I have one abstention.
Carry.
Okay, and then, so motion passes. 5.3, report of board members' attendance at other meetings, board member declarations of conflict of interest regarding any issue under board business that would require disclosure or recusal. Any board members?
Yeah, Chair. I attended the Parks and Rec meeting with the Uncle Richard and Kelly had held, and also that I guess a special meeting.
Okay. Any other board members? And just a reminder, this is for the months of March and February because we didn't disclose February's as well.
Board Member Ganaban attended RISE and a special meeting with the Pohaku.
Same for me, plus the emergency meetings that we called together with the neighborhood board and stuff. I think it was two of those. So same scenario for me. Thank you.
Any other board members online?
Same for me too.
Okay.
Pohaku, my Park and Recs meeting.
Okay, and then for myself, I attended NSW Pilot Parks Program meeting in February, and then I attended follow-up meeting for that also in February. I attended DLNR's town hall briefly for the month of March with Rep. Gates' office and our the Pohaku meeting. That was the special meeting that was held here with the community, as well as Pokai. And so if that's all the disclosures, moving on to 5.4, Hawaiian Electric info for Eurus solar panels. So this Hawaiian Electric solar panels discussion, they have not given me a call back because they're still trying to figure out. So I don't know if all of us knows that there's over 200 panels, solar panels that is not in use. And that was brought up in community concerns as far as what's happening with those broken panels and how they're going about replacing them or fixing them, and if that's in the cards for them to do that. So I'm waiting on a response for that from the Eurus Solar company. So just addressing that as that was a concern. Perry, you have a
Madam
question?
Chair.
Can you highlight what's going on? What happened to the give a little history about what happened to the panels? Give
Is
a little
Hawaiian Electric
history about
online?
it.
Hawaiian Electric is not online because it's not Hawaiian Electric had passed it
If I
to
may
Europe.
share a little, I'll be meeting with them tomorrow at the solar farm, and I can follow up on those things. But as far as those panels, they were disabled due to brush fire,
Board
and
member,
a
board
lot of the
member Kalei
wiring
Wilbur.
and the
Board
panels
member
got
Kalei Wilbur.
burned, but
Board
they have
member,
not been replaced.
board member. Sorry, I don't know if you can hear me. Hold on just a moment. I didn't give you the floor yet.
Sorry, I can't hear you. Sorry.
Okay, thank you. Yes, you can go ahead and share the history that you may know of the Eurus panels.
Okay, thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
So I will be meeting with them tomorrow. I'll be going to that facility tomorrow and meeting with the facilitator for that facility. The panels were disabled due to a brush fire. Not sure how long ago, but it's a couple years ago, and the panels have been out of service for some time. I did see a couple burnt panels and some wires that were burned. But yeah, that's something that they have not addressed at this time.
Can you ask if you can you ask them how are they gonna dispose of the panels?
That is currently the questions we are waiting on. Those questions were asked to the Eurus company that contacted me back. So I'm still awaiting those answers.
Thank you.
I can ask that question too. It wouldn't hurt, but I'll
To
let you
Hawaiian-
know via email, Johnny May.
There's a request for Jeffrey Jones, our neighborhood assistant, to be CC'd on those emails as well. And just for information purposes, I contacted Hawaiian Electric first, and they forwarded me to the company that oversees the solar panels, and that's how I got in communication with Eurus. So just so everybody's informed. But any of that discussion, if you can CC that over to Jeff as well. Okay, moving on to 5.5, DLNR, address concerns and questions of community members. So this was on our agenda from last month. Unfortunately, both months, DLNR wasn't able to attend, but I was in communication with them today, and they are they're good for us making a special meeting, so that we will be planning for sometime this month. And we're going to give them a few dates to participate. So just if our board members are aware, we will be having another special meeting this month regarding DLNR and the specific concerns of the community. And this is the request of them, was not only their law enforcement or enforcement officers, but our city law enforcement, so that everyone can understand the jurisdictions and when we would call a city and when we would call for DLNR. So,
Chair, can
yeah.
Can I ask something? I remember during one of our sessions, I think it was a Pohaku one, but also it was another session that we had, and the community has asked for that to be set up as a town hall meeting, because the community want to ask some questions. Also, the community has input, or they have some issues that's pressing issues for them, and just by having them come and do a presentation doesn't satisfy. I would think it doesn't satisfy the community themselves that has these pressing issues or pressing questions. So, if they come here and we give them 10 minutes for their presentation during our regular Monday meeting, I fail to see how that's going to address the situations that so much questions that's I sort of dropped in on Cedric Gates meeting with the DLNR guys, and even that even with the minor questions and stuff, it was a good hour long at least, So I don't know what the answer is. I don't know if we have to find our elected officials to help us do that, but it should be a meeting that everybody can participate. Everybody that has issues should be able to participate, not just the board. Thank you.
Yes, so in this special meeting, the idea, so there was questions that has already been presented to us, that has been forwarded to DLNR as far as the questions and concerns of the community. So it's going to be created around those specific questions and concerns. So regarding the specific issues and concerns that we're seeing out at KL, it's going to be completely circled around those particular issues. And there is going to be open discussion. There's not going to really be a presentation. I've already emailed some of the questions and the concerns, and for some of the questions for them, if they have the answers, to bring those back with them, but mostly to hear the community and their concerns. And they're very much aware of that's the idea of this meeting, is to hear the community and what their concerns are.
But just sitting on Cedric's last meeting with them,
Mhm.
there was there's actually more than two, but there was two main concerns that I felt that the community was going to be involved with. And that is because they shut down the area by the bridge that goes to the original the sandy area where people used to come and camp and stuff like that.
Mhm.
Because of the bridge is deteriorating. So if they shut down that area, we have a slew of community that used to camp out there, and they're really upset that they cannot go fishing, they cannot go out there. The gates is locked and stuff like that. So, secondly, they talk about possibly opening the gates down at Kiavaula and try to use that building there to try to get some kind of security or some kind of somebody to man that building and stuff. So there's a lot of questions and there's a lot of issues out there for them to come and spend 10, 15 minutes or even half an hour. I think it's going to be barking at the moon. That's my own personal opinion. Thank you.
Okay. Board Member Perry.
Thank
You have a
you.
question?
There's a brilliant idea. People sending you the questions and then you forward it out to Hawaiian Electric. Special meetings is not 10 minutes. Okay. It's like a regular full board meeting. Yeah. So just tailor the questions, the main questions to them. And it's not just a speak out meeting. It should come, the community should be thinking of finding resolution and not just speak up. Okay, so not to waste the community's time, not to waste Hawaii Electric's time, and to really nip
Sorry,
the true
Board Member Perry,
problems at the
really
bud.
quickly,
Thank
it's
you.
not for HECO, it's for DLNR.
Correction, DLNR. Same thing is not to just gripe, but to find resolutions and that we
Yes.
better understand the rules and regulation and what they have to go through and what we're
Yes.
facing. We can collaborate together and find solutions and better understanding of what they're going through and what the communities have to bear with. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so right now, that's what's on the table is special meeting with DLNR to answer the questions of the community and then for open discussion on what. And it's not going to be a 10-minute presentation. It is a full board meeting like we just experienced with our last special meeting. It was a full 2-hour meeting. Board Member Vahilani, you have a question?
Yes, Chair. Do we have a date for that meeting?
No, we do not. We are going to get responses from city to see what dates they can put us in for. And then we will have to wait to see if DLNR and the chairs of DLNR is able to attend.
Okay, mahalo nui.
So I will keep you guys posted via email. Okay.
Ai hiki no.
Mahalo. Okay. So we're currently in board business, but Auntie Kapua, you have a question.
Yeah, mahalo, babe. So, I appreciate that you folks are all providing services by serving on the board. But, when we have groups or individuals or government do presentations, normally they come to the committees that normally vet. And when they come before the board, it's more of a pass through because that item has already been vetted by a group of people. So my question is, has both of these items just recently discussed, the DLNR questions and the HECO concerns having to do with the URIS panels, the previous item, did they go through the proper committees? Because a second concern, or maybe this is pretty early, but is the absence of having these committee meetings, we're not able to get more specific information to make it more meaningful and purposeful to have various entities come before the board. So I do thank you folks, especially those of you that are on boards, and I see that some of you are on 2 and 3 boards. So I definitely appreciate you for doing that. Committees. Except it would help if we had the committee meetings and the agenda and sufficient attendance by the other board members to make it a bona fide meeting that meets its quorum requirements. So although you may not be a chair on a committee, by being on this neighborhood board, I encourage you board members to support those individuals that have stepped forward to be a chair, to be a vice chair, because they cannot hold a meeting unless they have quorum. And that's where we're going to need our board members to step in and concerned community members to also join you folks. So mahalo for at least keeping these in our limelight, absent any of those specific meetings. Mahalo, babe.
Mahalo. So just to answer your initial question, no, Hawaiian Electric, the solar panels and well, DLNR concerns has come through committees, has probably come through every single committee. And it's not even, they came to transportation, they came to parks. And so those have been brought through as concerns in committees. As far as the solar panels, I don't recollect any history of that being brought to a particular committee, but it was brought to our attention. So we can definitely vet that back through a committee. And then DLNR, yeah, so that we're here now and we've been reaching out to DLNR. I've had phone conversations with them, but still no answered questions. And so the special meeting is mostly because there's some very deep concern of the recent incidents that has just recently taken place and is probably affecting our community a lot, not just emotionally, but physically as residents and people out there is having to make some drastic decisions moving forward, whether there's still going to be of service in our community. And that's something that is heavy on everyone. So there is suggestions, believe it or not, there are suggestions, and I think they're very valid suggestions, but the best people to ask those questions, knowing the laws and the guidelines and regulations that they follow, that's why we're asking them to come to the table to see if that's a resolution that can be for the greater good of our community. So that is why the DLNR special meeting is being scheduled. Board Member Perry, you have another question on 5.5?
Yes, just a quick one. I believe Mr. Lanford mentioned Gates having a meeting with DLNR. So I see his name is online if he wants to share anything from that meeting.
So yes, I was present on that DLNR town hall meeting as well. That unfortunately didn't address the specific concerns and questions that community members had. So we're still going to carry on with this agenda item to create a special meeting so that those questions and also the solutions being brought to the table can be sifted through as well.
My question was for Rep Gates if he can share with us his meeting with DLNR.
If he's able to share that during his portion, then I would gladly let him share it at that time.
But we're on the topic.
I understand, but we didn't finish our agenda last month, so we're doubled up this month, and I want to make sure we get through our board agenda.
I didn't get to speak last month, but I would just want to say that we did have a Senate and House joint info briefing.
Sorry, Rep, I didn't recognize you, but if you may go ahead, you can continue. Go ahead.
But you said this is important and you don't want him to speak?
No,
and
that's
I'm
fine.
asking
He
him to
can.
speak?
I'm just recognizing him now. Thank you, Rep Gates, for your participation.
Thank you, Chair. So I just wanted to say that we did have all of 4 county police officers represented at the meeting with DoCare and DLNR. Basically, all the law enforcement in our entire state was at the state capitol for the joint hearing info briefing that we hosted to get down to some of the bottom of the issues that we see in the community, and specifically with the Cranston Pia situation. And so we also have talked with them about the solutions, and some of those include making sure that the state is doing its part to delineate and to distinguish the public hunting land. So people do not go off of those public hunting lands when hunting, and then working with DoCare and HPD to go after folks hunting with rifles or any firearms in areas that they shouldn't be. And I believe the only area that they can hunt with firearms is in Waianae Valley. And so the incident happened in Makaha, and of course we know that how that turned out. And so having the type of enforcement to go and make sure that we are tracking these people down and making sure that they're registering into the hunting registration, those all are important. And I think that the community can do their part by making sure we're reporting folks that we see that may look suspicious. And I think that will help law enforcement do their job. So that's the elevator speech on that. Thank you.
Mahalo, Rep. Gates. Board Member Perry, did that answer your question?
Thank you.
Okay. So if no more discussion on 5.5, we are moving on to 5.6. And this discussion will be for voting to start our board meeting at 6 p.m. So that we can finish at 9 o'clock and be out of this facility at 9:15. So any discussion?
Chair, I totally disagree for coming in early because already we coming in at 6:30, half of us not just barely making it. Our community, just by us coming in early, I think first thing we gotta do is we gotta look at our agenda and make sure we can fulfill the agenda. Because if you just put words on the agenda and we cannot fulfill the thing, it doesn't make any sense. Secondly, we have to, and I hate to cut people off when they're up there, but we have to keep reminding them that, there's a time limit if we want to finish what we need to do. And if you have all of this discussion, please come to the committee meetings. Then that way we can stretch out that 2 hours or 3 hours or whatever. By adding another half an hour, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't think that's going to happen because we tend to run over for some reason that comes to that night that, when there's so many issues or so many guys come up and speak about the same thing. And whereas if they're speaking about the same thing, couldn't we just put it at the committee meetings and try to resolve it there? Because we get 1 hour, 2 hours, and we can probably stay 3 hours if we wanted, if we needed to. But, we'll try to cram everything in on our regular board meeting. I would have to say I object. I wouldn't support it. Thank you.
Okay. Mahalo. Board Member Perry, I see your hand up.
Oppose for the many reasons Mr. Lanford just mentioned. I did express about recognition. That takes up a lot of time. Not that they don't deserve it, but I did make mention about that, and there's several board members running for election, and it seems that they're using this board as a platform. So I totally oppose for many reasons and for what Mr. Lanford said. Thank you.
Okay. Mahalo.
Also,
Any
where's
other-
the timekeeper, right? Didn't you guys have a timekeeper? You guys took community concerns. Is somebody getting back to the community about those concerns as it was written? That's how it all started. And then went down to the waistline.
Well, timekeeping is here present, and that's only for community concerns. And last month's meeting was heavily
be
on
all.
DLNR and RISE. So
Should be all.
Yeah, I fail to disagree with you, Johnny May, because
Mahalo, Mr. Lanford.
Even if we go half an hour earlier, it doesn't mean that we're going to address anything, because if we go half an hour earlier, nobody here, we're wasting our time. I mean, personally, just between you and I would hoping you would come down here and sit down with us at least one meeting for almost a half a year that we've been here, or 4.5 months. that we've
Mahalo,
been
Mr.
here.
Lanford.
So, thank you.
Okay. Any other board members discussion?
Yes, so pushing the time half hour early makes it, although we don't see physically here, but there's people online that could be in that traffic, you know what I mean? So
Right.
that half an hour difference when it starts can make a difference with either speakers or members that, or individuals in the community to participate.
Okay, mahalo.
You suggesting that we all go online then? Then we only need the chair over here. If that's the option, then fine.
Well, then
vote
that'll
for
be
that.
hard with
Take that from-
timekeeping because I can't timekeep and run the meeting, mahalo. Um,
Is this
okay,
kind of talk that prolongs the meeting? Is this kind of talk prolongs the meeting? And I
Right, and I
supported what
also-
you said, Mr. Lanford.
Thank you, Mrs. Perry. Okay, so moving right along to the vote. All in favor say aye. All opposed say no. Okay,
Perry,
and any
no.
abstentions?
Perry, no.
Board Member Vahilani and Board Member Wilbur.
With all the chatter and stuff, can you repeat what the motion is?
The motion is voting on start time for the board meeting to begin at 6 p.m. so that we can finish at 9 and be out of here by 9:15.
And we just spent 15 minutes on this issue.
Yes, so can I get to the vote, please? Aye, nay, abstain.
Perry, oppose.
Nay. Kale Wilbur, was that
Nay.
nay?
Yeah.
Board Member Vahilani. Okay, so with 6 nays, 1 abstention, no ayes. Motion doesn't pass, so board meeting will be at 6:30, finish at 9, and out of here by 9:15. Okay, so consideration 5.7, consideration to vacate sub-district 2 seat. Consider, so just basically stating letters and everything has been submitted to board member Ho'omanawanui, and there has been no response according to the NCO's office. And so this is gonna be opening up a seat in that case. If the board,
Yeah, I kind of, I don't know, I get old time, old school, mentality. So consideration to vacate, sub-district to seat is a nice way to say that, Mr. Jonathan is not, attending or not returning back. Okay. Thank you.
and just to confirm, I just want to ask if Mr. Ho'omanawanui might be online. If you can just raise your hand. Okay, I don't see any hands. Okay, well, anyways, so any discussion on this? Anybody opposed to vacating the seat?
Sorry, clarifying question. So if there is a vote to vacate the seat tonight and it does go through, then would the board appoint a new?
So it won't be appointed. It'll be on next month's agenda. And it'll be an open seat, and anybody in the community or online that wants to put their name in to be a board member will then put their name in, and then we as a board will decide who, if there's multiple, that's why. And we'll give them an opportunity to share why they want to serve on the board or things like that for community to get to know them. And then they will,
And then sub-district 2 is Makahaya.
is Makaha, yes. So they have to live within sub-district 2.
So, in actuality, what we're doing is we're calling him out. So if he does come and rebut,
So in the case that he was online right now and wanted to say that I want to stay on the board, then we would still go into discussion on, are we going to allow him as a board members if he would stay? But he's already been given notice and everything, which is what we were waiting for, and now it's on the agenda. Go ahead. Jeff has comments.
So for reference, so as you all are aware, but for the community that is not, once a board member hits a 3 absent, a letter is sent out to notify them they've hit 3 absences. This item is like how Tiana was just sharing, it's up for discussion to vacate the seat, and it would be open to come the next agenda. You guys do not have to decide to vacate the seat. It is, again, it's totally up to the board. There needs to be a quorum decision, so 5 of you have to vote in approving that the seat is vacated. If not, then he remains a board member for the time being. Today would be a 5th absence. So again, another letter would be sent out to notify him that he has reached a 5th absence, and so on and so forth. It'll happen every other absence.
Mahalo. Board Member Perry, you have a question?
I just the NCO explained everything. So by not complying or answering the letter is not, the NCO does not automatically remove board member from the neighborhood board as a not replied.
Jeff will respond.
So the neighborhood commission office, we cannot remove somebody from the board. That is a board decision. So even though he does receive a 3 absent letter, a 5 absent, so on and so forth, the board decides whether or not to vacate the seat or continue to have him fill the seat as a board member, even if he is not attending the meetings.
Thank you.
Mahalo.
Chair, did we get a motion on this already?
So no motion as far as vacating the seat.
For the sake of time and so we can get through the agenda, my motion that we vote on this.
So Jeff, it's already an agenda.
Well, he's making a motion to have the vote.
So he made it. He did a second. Okay, so just say it in the mic so it's recorded, please. Thank you.
Board Member Ganaban, second motion.
Thank you. Okay, so motion move to vacate sub-district 2 seat. Motion made by Kalei Wilbur, seconded by Philip Ganaban. Okay, and any discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Perry, aye.
Pilani, aye.
Yes, unanimous. Okay, so motion passes. Sub-district 2 seat is open. Residents have to be in Makaha. Moving on to 5.8, discussion nomination to vote for Waianae Coast Neighborhood number 24 chair. So motion.
Question,
Make a
is
motion to
this
not-
for the whole, like just chair or for the other positions too? Like since the previous chair
No,
just got,
because
okay.
the other positions are already filled, it'll just be for chair. So we're not gonna re-vote on every officer. We're just,
I motion that Tiana become the chair since she's doing a job at it anyway.
second.
okay, wait, hold on.
Nominate first, guys.
So discussion, nominate, so we're gonna motion first,
Okay.
and this is going to,
Okay, motion for it to be discussed then.
Make a motion to nominate Yana Williams. Chair.
I second.
No, sorry, I just want to clarify because you moved up to chair from first vice chair, and then Coco, who moved up to first vice chair. So is there a
So
second
I'm
vice chair?
chair pro tem. In the case that somebody else is the chair, I'm first vice chair. And he's second. Like that, I'm only moved temporarily until
Yeah.
I fill the seat as chair.
No. But if you move up as full chair, don't we still have to fill? Yeah. That's what I'm asking. If that was.
Yeah. Well,
We get to
that's-
that bridge when we get to that bridge.
but you
Board
have
Member Wahilani, I make a motion
been 2/3.
to nominate Tiana Wilbur as chair.
I second it.
Okay, so motion moved for nomination for Tiana Wilbur by Vahilani and seconded by Kale Wilbur. Any discussion or any other nominations?
I nominate Richard Lanford. Mr. Lanford, this is only for 2 months, Mr. Lanford. You've been on the neighborhood board like forever.
Okay, just
I'm
nominations.
giving you this opportunity to
Nominations. Thank you,
accept.
Board Member Perry.
Thank you. I decline.
Okay, so we have decline from Board Member Lanford. Any other nominations?
Okay, so he declined. I nominate Crab for chair.
Up to you.
It's for 2 months.
Thank you so much, Board Member Perry. I decline.
Board Member Perry. Sorry, can you refrain from laughing? Yes, Board Member.
I nominate Johnny May Perry for being chair.
Thank you, Mr. Lanford. But you already said I'm not there in person and I've been online, so I decline.
Okay, mahalo. Okay, we are. If anybody else has any more discussion, we will move to a vote. Okay, so if we could do a voice vote. Okay. We can start from here. Board Member Lanford.
Yeah.
From there and then we'll come on to online.
I vote that yes for
So
Wilbur.
yeah. Okay. I for Lanford.
Aye. Board Member Ganaban, aye.
Crab abstain.
Board
Aye.
Member Tiana.
The roll call. Gee, what is this?
Board Member Vahilani.
Aye.
Board Member Kale Wilbur.
Aye.
Board Member Johnny May Perry.
How come NCO not doing the roll call? Perry abstain.
Okay, so we got 2 abstentions and 5. Okay, so
How come
motion
NCO not doing
passes.
roll call?
Thank you, Jeff, for doing an awesome job. 5.9, concerns or topics board members would like to address or recognize on the board. Also for us to have open dialogue offline to further our future recognitions. And the reason for this discussion is so that it is open and recorded right now that we will be discussing future recognitions offline together via email. So thank you for board members that have been submitting their request as far as recognizing members in our community. I appreciate that. And I think that is so vital in our community right now, seeing all the decline that we see in our community. I think keeping this positive atmosphere and recognitions is very helpful to those in our community, especially those that are selflessly giving and of service in our community. And they need to know that we recognize them, we appreciate them, and to not give up on our community, because we know how exhausting this work and efforts can be. So we appreciate everyone, and I think everybody should be recognized, but unfortunately, we only have a short window that we can do that. So that is the reason why that is on the agenda for us to kind of just open it up that we will be discussing this via offline to further the future agendas. But if anybody has any comments or anything, Board Member Vahilani?
Yeah, Chair, I was trying to get your attention about going back to the voting. So like what Board Member Crab was asking about. So being now that you're the chair now, so you move up to the chair, and then because you were the first vice chair, and then I was the second vice chair. So since that moves up, can I make a motion to nominate Crab as the vice chair?
So motions on
Is
the
that a
floor
possibility?
is open to all board members at any time. You just need a second and for the motion to be voted on, as long as there's 2/3 of us to vote for it to pass and for us to vote tonight, then it can be.
Yeah, I didn't want to take up time, but yeah, I'd like to make a motion to nominate Cross Crab as vice chair.
Very second.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor to vote for first vice chair by Vahilani and seconded by Board Member Perry. And the nomination is for Cross Crab.
I accept.
Can we get clarification from the NCO that the second vice chair doesn't move into the first vice chair position? Just so that we're not overstepping here?
That I'm not entirely too sure about. That is something I would have to clarify. But in this case, since there is a first and second vice chair, Board Member Crab could be, if you guys would like to take the vote today for him to fill a vice chair seat, I can clarify that. And if in the event that Board Member Vahilani was to move up, he would fill, Board Member Crab would be the second vice chair seat. But I'll clarify that first thing tomorrow for you guys.
Thank you.
Sorry, just to clarify, but since even if he did move up, right now, technically, since he was the one that motioned for the first vicemanship to be filled, that, yeah.
I think he declined the first. He's
Yeah,
okay with the second.
Board Member Vahilani, can you clarify, are you giving
So my
your,
question, yeah, my question was, since now that you are chair, and so as I was, and you're acting vice chair, and then I was acting second vice chair. So I made a motion to nominate Cross Crab as first vice chair. That was my motion. That was my
But by right, you have to decline the position as first vice chair because you are the second vice chair.
And I decline.
okay.
And I decline first vice chair.
So just to clarify the motion, motion on the floor for Cross Crab to be the first vice chair and Vahilani to go back to second vice chair. And it was seconded by Perry. All in favor, say aye.
Thanks.
Okay, I have, can we just roll call? Lanford,
Abstain.
Donovan. Donovan is aye. Board Member Crab. Crab, aye. Board Member Vahilani.
Aye.
Board Member Kalei Wilbur.
Abstain.
Board Member Perry.
Aye.
Board Member Tiana Wilbur, aye. Okay. And moving right along, so 5.9. So any discussions, everybody's clear about discussions?
Sorry, can we go over, was there a concern that it was not being discussed? Is this how this discussion came about, or this agenda item?
No, it was because there wasn't any responses back except some of us was submitting some recognitions so that all of us across the board could give their input on. I just wanted to make sure there wasn't any fear or resistance because of sunshine and things like that, and putting, their input on what to put on the agenda, like as far as recognitions. And just if there was any other concerns from board members that they wanted to address. So no, there wasn't any specific incident, but if you, okay. Okay, anybody have any concerns? All right. Um. All right. So 5.10 is revisiting subcommittees and subcommittee participation, or participants. So we wanted to, because this was an agenda item that was included on our previous leadership, I wanted to just clarify and revisit the subcommittees, because I think participants from the community and then also board members, we don't know who was actually on our subcommittees, and we want to solidify that because there was some names that were mentioned previously in that meeting that actually didn't give permission and did not want to serve on the subcommittees. And then also for us to discuss as board members, in that, are we, because this is, I think, confusion as well. Emails was going out to all the subcommittee members when we first started as a board. So as a board now, are we gonna continue giving emails and sending out and keeping in communication our subcommittee members, which I think is only fair as they're serving on the subcommittees, but it was never a discussion for us on what our expectation is as chairs of those committees. So that's why the discussion for this is on, but we do have to go back to those meeting minutes and clarify the members that were named that night.
Yeah, clarifying. So to be a member on a subcommittee, you don't have to be on the neighborhood board, because I know that was the concern the last time, or confusion was that community members are being added to the subcommittees as like official members.
Yeah, so it doesn't mean that you're an official member of the board, but it does mean that you will participate and work with the chair directly to help Kokua on that committee. Whether it's participating in community events or outreaches or things like that, or even just being of service. I know we had subcommittee members like on Hawaiian Affairs before that would help assist in the agendas and things like that.
I recommend that we redo the committees, because I know we voted on a bunch of new committees when Chair Homanavanui was on, and like those committees haven't been reflected in the agendas recently. So there's just a lot of confusion. And then on top of that, the subcommittee members, a lot of them don't even show up to the meetings, the neighborhood board meeting or the subcommittee meeting. So I feel like those discussions for the subcommittee members should start off in the subcommittees first. That's just my opinion. Thank you.
Okay. Board Member Lanford.
Well, for clarification, we got to understand also that when Jonathan did his structure, these our subcommittees or people that volunteer want to be on different committees, they need a structure of a set meeting. If it's going to be the first Tuesday of every month, so they can set their schedule, come home from work, have dinner, whatever it is. So just by not having a set schedule or a set meeting for these guys that want to participate, it's not their fault. And I believe that they want it. We have a lot of, I've seen how many volunteers that want to come in and be part of our group out here. And we need them. We need them. Okay. So we need them at our committee meetings, because we cannot do it all ourselves. And it supports what that particular group is looking for, because it concerns them. It doesn't concern us. We're only the in-between person that tries to get them directed to the right area. So, and I got to be honest with you, some of our what you call chairs for our committees, they got to go back to school and try to understand, because you're out there taking shots from committee, from community, from committee members, whatever. Hey, take it with a grain of salt. Okay, that's why you're here. But if you cannot then you know, they say either do it or get off the pot. So up to you. But, you know, when guys come and they question you and they ask you all these things, just take the notes down and try to address them later, not challenge them. I mean, you know, I was very disappointed, very disappointed. Thank you.
On what? No, well, I mean, if you're addressing committees and the way, I just trying to clarify, conducting committees, is that what we're, like, your concern right now? Is the way committee chairs are conducting our meetings?
Well, I think there should be guidelines that make sure that if we're going to be the chair out there, that we should follow the guidelines. I mean, we out there to listen to the community, listen to their concerns and stuff like that. And we may not have the answer for them, but if we sit down, I guess cohesively and try to explain it to them that I need help, you want to do the thing, sit down with me and we'll work hand in hand and try to get the thing resolved instead of saying, oh no, you know, blah, 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 this, blah, 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 that.
Okay.
They don't come to us for hear that. I mean, yeah, even though it's on the paper, they come to us for guidance on how to help them.
So we do have guidelines, and the guidelines
And-
are that we are the advisory board to connect community and our representatives, our elected officials. And so it is our job, our purpose to listen.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Yes. Okay, so hopefully that is clear across the board to all of us, that we are there to listen. And sometimes, yes, we can respond, but always in a respectful manner, and making sure that we're not biased on any side. Okay, so any other discussion as far as, I'm thinking we are moving this agenda item and maybe just moving it to a vote to discuss committee members again and committees, because so that we can kind of clear up everything that was previously put in place and solidify it now as we are bringing this board back together and creating.
Chair, do you get to contact them as a, like, say, for example, you have like,
Yeah.
like that list, grab it up his list. You guys could email them.
I think if you could just send it all to me too, though, I just so that I know everybody. Yeah. But that would be fine. Okay, so the suggestion is that Jeff will submit the subcommittee members that are listed to us individually. And then I will have the master list of the committees and the committee members, so that we all know and is very clear on who's listed. Right. Right. Okay, thank you for that. So a community member in the room that's on a committee asked the question, being that she used to receive emails and no longer receives them. But any other questions or anything we want to?
For that, who sends those emails out?
So, and that's part of the discussion, if we can, as members of those committees, discuss, are we going to continue that and send out emails so they know when our board meetings is, so they have a preview of the agenda? Are we going to incorporate them like that, where we're going to send out emails as the chair to our subcommittee members? Respectfully, to engage them and get them involved in our committee. So I open the floor for that discussion to happen, if anybody.
Better Mike, better Mike.
Please,
Better
yeah,
Mike.
thank you guys.
Yeah.
Hi, good evening. I just wanted to make clear, as a community member, we can be on the committees. Because, you know, I want to voice some you know, just disagreement with the last homeless subcommittee we had. there was questions asked and they weren't answered. They were instead told other thing they stood. And then, like Mr. Lanford was saying, in your positions, each and every one of you appointed officials on the board, as well as, higher up, people gonna come at you. You gotta be professional and answer it. If you're gonna get upset like that, like the chair did that night, and he clammed up, there was nothing. There was questions asked, we still don't answers to. The whole night, there was not a note taken. So I'd like to see the minutes of that meeting as well.
Okay.
And those are concerns. I even went as far as volunteering to be co-chair. I don't know how we can do that, but there needs to be transparency. If questions are asked, granted, not everybody has every answer to every question. However, the right answer is, I will take your information down, I will write the question down, and I will go get an answer. Not getting upset, clamming up, and stuff like that. That's unprofessional. And as a chair, you're the leader of the room. So we need to act accordingly.
Okay. Mahalo for that feedback. So I just want to kind of address a little bit of that. Yes, we definitely don't always have the answers, and sometimes we actually won't even get the responses, and that's kind of disheartening too for myself, as a servant on this board. But if we all as board members can just stay committed to, staying committed to the community, listening to their concerns, and then trying our best to get back to, and I know this is practice, right? This is hard. To hold our composure, we all have our own personal views on things, and but to be the most respectful towards each other always. But thank you for bringing your feedback. Board member Wilbur, you have a question.
Yeah, I wanted to ask this. Does Chris live in Makaha?
I don't know if since you're online, I think you guys can connect offline. But we will not answer that question via the board meeting.
Yes or no?
Okay, so we have a question from board member Crab and then board member Perry.
I think from the situations that have happened with the last chair, and the results that have had on top of the subcommittees, I think there's a lot of confusion in terms how subcommittees are operating and how subcommittees have been operating since, the decisions and the impacts that have happened from the last chair. And I think it would be beneficial if we've had education opportunities for the community and for the members of the board on how it is run, because I also don't think there's been, some concerns brought up to the board about what has been happening in the subcommittees. But also I think that us as a board, we should be working together, and there seems to have been a disconnect in many of the things since our last chair election. And I feel that if we want to move forward as a board, then we need to offer those vehicles and opportunities to do so.
Yes.
Thank you.
And Jeff, sorry, board member Perry, just a second.
So, excuse me. To address that, a good rule of thumb, I guess, for the committees, they're meant to be run exactly like how this regular board meeting is meant to be run. Same thing, public forum on both ends. If there are answers that, or if there are questions that cannot be answered, then of course it is the committee chair, co-chair, or if there's no co-chair, then just the chair, to get those answers. If in the event that they did not get the proper contact to get those answers, I'll open this to the committee chairs. They can submit their questions to myself or ask for the contact information for these city departments or state departments, and I could do my best to get them to you guys for follow-ups to present to the community. But to answer the overall arching question, committee meetings are meant to be run exactly how this meeting is run. Respect from both parties, board members and residents. Questions, the same thing, public forum, regardless of if it's a regular board meeting or a committee. For committees, there doesn't necessarily have to be a vice chair / co-chair. It's totally up to the chair of the committee. As far as the comment that was made of volunteering to assist in boards, that's the beauty of having these subcommittees and having community members involved. If you guys would like to get involved, that's where this list is going to come from. To where if you guys would like to assist committee chairs or committee co-chairs or just the committee itself, you guys can do so. And that's providing suggestions, that's providing any type of things that you guys may need or think the committee can benefit from, so on and so forth.
Mahalo. Okay, Board Member Perry and then Board Member Kalei Wilbur.
I just want to say regarding some issues like homeless, the parks, housing, the governor and the mayor have been upfront of what the state is doing, what the county is doing. We have paid elected officials. As board members, we don't have a lot of privileges as you think we do. We're not invited in a lot of meetings. We're not invited in closed door meetings. So we do have paid elected officials, and they also have liaison, community liaison. So there's regarding those issues, it is the governor and the mayor has been always forward what's happening. So if that's another way of getting information and getting educated. Yes, we don't have all the answers. And again, we're not privileged to a lot of the meetings compared to our elected officials. And by all means, pick up the phone, talk to them. Thank you.
Mahalo. Board Member Kalei Wilbur.
So I take it that a lot of these committees that are in question are the ones that that our former chair was overseeing. And is that the question of, I mean, obviously, if there's nobody to take the seat, then do we motion to put those committees up for nomination, or just dissolve the committees? Because that would be my official motion.
Okay, so are you making a motion?
Yeah, I'm making a motion to, well, first of all, I'm making a motion to dissolve the committees that Jonathan oversaw. And then my second motion would be to bring those.
Only one motion at a time.
uh,
And just for clarification purposes, you're saying to dissolve the committees that is right now not being is not being chaired, is not being followed up on.
not being chaired by the person that vacated, that just was that we just vacated this position.
Right. So the public safety, the different committees that was created that is currently not chaired and nothing's happening with, you're motioning to dissolve them, meaning remove them from this board, from this body.
Unless there's a vice chair that wants to take them.
No, and that's basically what he's saying.
I second.
So discussion on the floor is, if we can just go into this now. Well, Board Member Kalei Wilbur, if you can just elaborate. So these committees that you're talking about, right? Public safety, the ones that currently doesn't have a chair no longer, them merging back into those issues to be adjoined with committees that are currently being run because they're important. Or like, what is your suggestion?
So-
We need clarification.
Well, one was to dissolve them for less confusion, and then if the committees still stand and those are the committees still want, then we would allow the board to step up and want to chair those committees. It's again, we're going into 25 minutes of discussion that really, if we dissolve it and let everybody step up to the plate, you know, especially those that don't chair a committee or aren't involved in a committee. So my motion is to dissolve it, and then I'll submit my second motion, which is to have people, if they want to step up to the plate, step up to the plate.
Okay. I'm gonna go to Board Member Perry, and then we have community member, committee member actually. Go ahead, Board Member Perry.
I just want to say, all those committees that have no chair is moot. And when people who want to chair committees would usually identify the committees that they want to chair. So, you know, if you passionate about education, you do education and so forth. And so since there was no agenda going out, so those committees all moved.
The confusion is that community members that were committee members of these committees is now confused on where they stand, being that there has been no agendas and no meetings moving forward. So this is why we're trying to solidify everything and making everything clear, basically, and either re-establishing that committee and someone chairing it, and that's why the discussion is in place, because community committee members are left hanging right now and is very confused. And then our board also just looks very messy with all these open seats and nobody filling them, nothing happening with them. So where do we want to move as a board? Do we want to keep those committees and chair them and run those meetings? Or are we going to now start merging them back because they used to be merged together because we couldn't chair all of the committees? So this is why it's on the agenda for discussion for us to decide as a board, because we didn't have a discussion on what we wanted to do and move forward with back then.
Can we get clarification on the committees that are in question that Jonathan oversaw?
Okay, I will try and pull that up in just a second. Community member, state your name for the record, please.
Terry Waianae. So how about you guys table this motion for the next meeting? Why? Because a lot of us community members, like myself, I was on 2 subcommittees, never get emails for a long time. And I was not made aware that these committees need people. I'm willing to step up, but I didn't know that there was committees that nobody's chairing or. So perhaps it may be beneficial if you guys give a list of all the committees that have no one chairing it. And let the community know so that we can say, hey, I'd step up or we should dissolve it. I mean,
Definitely. So yes, this is the reason why for the different agenda items, vacating the seat, all these different things is moving forward to that basically. So, and for us board members, that's our currently. Mahalo, Auntie Kapua. So public safety, ocean safety and erosion, military liaison, and environmental protection. And that was so public safety was Jonathan Ho'omanawanui and John Travis. Ocean safety and erosion was Jonathan Ho'omanawanui and Brian Keolana. Military liaison, Jonathan Ho'omanawanui, and environmental protection, Jonathan Ho'omanawanui and Dr. Lyle Tinjoma. So now that isn't that board member, and all these committees are now open, but are we going to merge them, or is board members going to now chair them? Go ahead, board member Kalei Wilbur.
Being that ocean safety and the park and recs make up 90% of our parks, I will take ocean safety under park and recs.
Ocean safety and erosion.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm already dealing with erosion out at Kumakua side.
And I'm just because some of the erosion items was brought up in transportation, being it was roadside So
Yeah.
on those cases, I think we can join
Collaborate.
committee. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a great idea. Thank you.
Okay. So okay, so yeah, the motion, and so we're now gonna, is that the discussion? We're gonna fill seats and merge them to our committees that we currently sit on? Or, go ahead, Mr. Lanford.
No, I was looking at what Terry had just mentioned, that,
Mhm.
you know, we kind of putting the cart in front of the horse because we never even get rid of Jonathan yet. And we're not sure if Jonathan coming back or, you know,
Actually, the last vote to vacate the seat
yeah.
was that removal.
Okay, so we're gonna fill the seat, right?
So we're gonna put it on the agenda for next month
Yeah,
so that community can participate and they can put their name in on
Right.
that meeting for us to.
right. Yeah, I'm familiar with
Right.
with how it's done. But what I'm saying, if we do get somebody that's in and we have an opportunity for that person to take some of this load off, you know, we kind of putting the cart in front of the horse. I mean,
So you're talking about
so now you're
tabling,
talking about eliminating something when somebody comes and then what? See, the committees is put together because of the community's concerns. So why should, or how come we get the choice of dissolving the committee or that particular position? I think it's wrong. That's
Mm.
just me. Okay, but I'm not the chair, so it's up to you guys.
actually, it's a collaboration. Everybody has to vote on it. So if there's an amendment or something that you want to address or a motion that you want to,
Just vote no, that's all.
Can we just table and move on, please? Because
okay,
we're taking too much
so
time.
we are going to continue and defer this 5.10 till next month after we vote in a new community member. So moving on to presentation 6.2, Hawaii Rural Water with Ted Johns. Thank you for cesspool conversions.
Aloha, everyone.
Aloha.
Want to wake you up tonight because we've been going pretty long here, but this presentation is about cesspool closure, which is Hawaii Law Act 125. If you do have a cesspool on your homestead property, the law states you will have to close that by 2050. This presentation is trying to help people understand what they can do in order to do that. My name is Ted Johns. I live on Molokai. I work for Hawaii Rural Water, and I am their water quality action specialist. I do have a bachelor's degree in geology from the Ohio State University, and I'm also a licensed grade 2 wastewater operator in the state of Hawaii. This is my contact information, my email, and my telephone number. Please reach out to me if I can give you more help. And I want you to know that everything that Hawaii Rural Water does is free and completely confidential. You can talk to me about any subject without worrying about me going to anybody with any authority. So here's a brief agenda for what we're going over here in this PowerPoint, and it is cesspool conversion or closing. And why do we have to do that? Because of Act 125, which is a Hawaii law that was passed in 2017. So it's already been in progress for 7 years already. Why do we need to do this? The environmental side is because we need better and safer wastewater treatment. How are we going to do this? I'm going to give you some avenues for financing, hopefully that can help homeowners do this conversion. So Hawaii Act 125, as I said, it is a law. And it basically states in layman's terms that by 2050, all cesspools have to be closed. By the way, there will be enforcement on this law. So I don't want people to think they can just sneak by and get by because the powers that be will be watching this. So what happens when we close our cesspool? Well, we have to replace it with another form of sanitary sewer. What are our choices? Well, the first choice is if there's a centralized wastewater treatment plant nearby and you can hook into that, that would be one choice. I think we have the Waianae treatment plant down here. And I understand from the operators there that they have capacity to have more homes hooked up for them to treat. If we can't hook into a city sewer system, then we're going to have to make what's called an individual wastewater system. And this is what you would have in a home that's more in a rural area, because likely you're not going to be able to hook up to centralized sewer. As I said here, this is a law by 2050, but right now there are 12 bills in the legislature right now pertaining to this subject. Some of it is about trying to get us tax credits. Some of it is about trying to get us monies to do this. So I encourage you to pay attention to your legislature and see if they've passed any bills that can help us with this problem. So here's the nitty gritty. 88,000 cesspools in Hawaii. Some people put that number as high as 90,000. And I don't want to be critical of Hawaii. I love Hawaii, but the mainland states have already taken care of this problem years ago. We're kind of like lagging behind. So that's why we're addressing this. And as a result, 53 million gallons of water, sewer water, raw untreated wastewater is entering in the environment every day. You see these big freshwater towers up here that supply our drinking water? Those are like 1 to 2 million gallons. Can you imagine 53 of those every day being dumped into the environment? So why should we change? What is a cesspool? Cesspools are nothing more than a hole in the ground. They discharge raw, untreated human waste into the soil. It's an old, unacceptable system, and they're outlawed. Here's this cross-section of diagram that gives you an idea what a basic cesspool looks like. And you can see the bottom is open and all of the sides have much spaces in them. So these solids combine with the liquid and form a leachate, and they leak into, you can see on the bottom there, the water table. All of our islands have a water table under the ground everywhere. Don't matter where you live, there is a water table. So these bad bugs, as we call them, can get into the water table. And we call those bad bugs pathogens. That's what causes disease. So these pathogens can contaminate our drinking water, our groundwater, and our oceans. And I'm sure you've seen studies reflecting all of this. And they're widely recognized to cause problems for humans and harmful to human health. By the way, we get 99% of our drinking water from groundwater sources. So what can we do if we close a cesspool? Flow chart. Is city sewer available? If it is, yes. Then we can connect the house main sewer to the collection system of the centralized wastewater treatment plant. Of course, we'll need a permit for that through the Board of Health. And also we'll put in a 4-inch lateral line with a clean out. And a clean out is so that in case there's a blockage in there, we can open it back up. Want to emphasize to you that no matter which way we go with this problem, we're going to end up having a bill. You're going to have a sewer bill, or if you have a individual wastewater system, which is what we're discussing. If we don't have city sewer, We're going to get a permit from the Hawaii Department of Health for an individual wastewater system. This IWS acronym, that's what you'll see in the literature. So that's the reason why I'm showing it to you, because when you apply, you'll see this acronym. And typically, this is a septic tank system, replacing the cesspool. Again, ongoing maintenance costs associated with this. You would have to get it pumped intermittently. You're going to have to pay a pumper to come in. You might have to pay someone to inspect it and maintain it. But either way we look at it, it's going to cost us money, either system we go with. So the city and county of Honolulu, they're kind of like the top dog, and they have a revised ordinance of Honolulu laws and rules. And if they tell you to hook up to the sewer system, you got 90 days to do it. There are some details associated with that, but basically it's going to be a deadline for you to have to do it. I personally would recommend anybody who's getting rid of the cesspool to go with city sewer if you can. So this is what we would replace a cesspool with if we're going to get an individual wastewater system. And you can see that this is an enclosed tank. The solids, which we call sludge on the bottom, they don't leak out. They stay in the tank. They don't contaminate the environment. And they are removed and then go to a centralized treatment plant for further treatment. So if you would have to do an individual wastewater system because you don't have city sewer, probably you're going to get a septic tank with a leach or drain field like this. And here's just an overall diagram of how the septic tank looks. We have the septic tank coming out of the sewage coming into the septic tank, and what drains out of the septic tank is liquid, which has already been cleaned, and the final treatment of this liquid occurs in the subsoil. That's where the disease-causing organisms are made inert or destroyed so that they can't reproduce. I want to mention another form of a septic tank type system, and you'll probably see this in the literature. It's called an aerobic treatment unit. Now, don't be alarmed by this word aerobic. All it means is air with oxygen. And what this type of a system does is just gives better treatment. For example, if you have a house that's right beside like a major stream flowing by, and we're worried about contamination going into that stream, we may have to require more treatment. So we may have to go with this type of an individual wastewater system.
We're wrapping it up with the presentation. If you could wrap it up.
I'm sorry.
If you can wrap it up with the presentation.
okay.
Thank you.
So city sewer or septic tank, financing ability. If you're Department of Hawaiian Homelands, NAHASDA, check with them first. DHHL is working to try to get federal money for this too. So check in with DHHL. USDA, that's another avenue for financing. They will give loans for this type of repair. So visit your USDA office. HUD guarantees money to Hawaiian Homelands, 1% loan. Also, the U.S. Economic Development Administration. And one other one I just came across is the Hawaii Community Foundation. They give grants, so I encourage homeowners to check in with them. So again, as I mentioned earlier, this is a law. It is going to be enforced. People are going to get fined if we don't address this sewage wastewater problem. Thank you for your time. And if anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Mahalo, board members.
I have a question.
Questions for Weekend? Okay. We'll go to Board Member Vahilani, and then we could also forward our questions offline. Go ahead, Board Member Vahilani.
Thank you for showing up tonight. Your presentation is very informative. So I'm a homesteader. I live up in Pueblo, Waianae Valley Homestead, and I guess it was the mid-90s. The Board of Water came in and they said that we had to tie in because we all had cesspools. This is in 1977. The homestead. We were first moved into the homestead of Waianae Valley. So, but now with this new law, but my question was, I remember when we had our cesspool, but we tied in because my parents, they got scared and they tied in the 90s. But we would use the enzymes, which are the Riddics, into the cesspool, and to my understanding, the enzymes will eat up all that. Is that true to the fact? Is that still possible?
Most of the literature recommends you do not put any additives into a septic tank or a cesspool. It actually is not needed. Unfortunately, as I mentioned, you do have money costs going to be associated with this, and that involves the sludge pumping.
So because the enzymes, they would eat up all that, all the fungi, all the sludge.
What was? Can you say that one more time, please?
So the product that we throw into our cesspool at the time in the 70s, late 70s, was Riddics. It was enzymes that eat up everything that was in the cesspool. Is that still viable today?
That's just a company trying to sell you a product, and if they can convince you that it works, they'll sell product. You don't need any additives in any of these treatment systems. There's enough bacteria in there on its own to consume the bad bugs, as we call them. It may be possible that you would have some sludge reduction, thereby you would have less pumping. So yes, that is a possibility.
Okay.
Thank you.
Board Member Wilbur, if you can stay within 1 minute to state your question, and then we will take this discussion offline. I do have a community member raising their hand, so I do want to allow you to ask your question. But any responses and things is gonna be after. But go ahead, Board Member Wilbur.
So thank you, Chair. For a lot of the concerns is the fact that many of these agricultural lots don't have a municipal system put in yet, and they're on cesspool, and the option is to go septic. Now, the fear is that if they go septic and then a sewer line is put in, do they have to then vacate the septic system and go into the sewer system?
That is a very valid problem. And from what my contacts in the EPA have told us, that we're just in the very beginning of this problem. So, I would say wait, and hopefully the city sewer will reach your neighborhood. But again, we do have a deadline, so it's kind of your decision what to do. And if we can talk to the city and find out if they're going to expand their collection system, give us an idea. That's about the only thing we can do.
Okay, yeah, because there is some communities out here that we've been told will not get sewer because of their location. So they would have to then go to a septic. But
putting in the collection system is the most expensive part of wastewater treatment. So for everyone to be on city sewer, I don't know if it'll ever happen. I wish it would, but if we feel like there's no way we're ever going to get city sewer here, then I guess we have to go in the way of the individual wastewater system.
Thank you.
My understanding though, also in the measure itself, it does state that EPA approved systems would be allowed. From my understanding last session.
Yeah, that would be up to the Department of Health, the wastewater branch.
Right.
Um,
And it was very specific on what kind of septic systems, but again, we can definitely discuss more further offline. And maybe you can hold another community meeting for community members to attend.
Absolutely.
With your
Please, I would love to.
company. If you can get us your yeah, just ask the question and then we can give you the answer after. Okay.
Hello. Yeah, so I just wanted to, as far as a cesspool, there's a gentleman named Wayne Wade out of Hattiesburg, Mississippi right now with a product called Sumagrow, which has been shown, it's an enzyme like the gentleman had mentioned, Ridex. It's an enzyme that reduces sludge by 80%. So I just wanted to say that if everybody who does have cesspool, I have cesspool. So I had a great opportunity to become an investor that I declined because of my cesspool. But I want to let you know that there is a product currently right now because of this bill coming up. They have been tracking it. And in the very near future, they plan on introducing it to the Department of Health and whatever. So there is a way. And I would also like to say that the individual water system or septic tank, even if I was on sewer, I would recommend doing that. There's tanks from 500 gallons up to 3,500 gallons, and it's so cheap. It's so feasible. Like he said, the most expensive part is installing it, but you pay the sewer pump guy about $250 every 3 or 4 months. I mean, I just moved into my new house, which is cesspool now, but the house I left was sewer. And I tell you what, it's a significant difference in price. I just wanted to say that.
Chair, can you ask the gentleman, what's that product?
I'm sorry.
The product is Sumagrow.
We can definitely get you that information from community member.
There's a local,
after.
there's a local individual down here. I can get the
Okay.
information, contact information for you guys.
Okay.
It's a really great product. It looks like a bar of soap. You throw it in your system and it literally eats the enzymes. They were talking about throwing it in the alawai to do something like that.
Or Genki balls. No, I'm just kidding. Anyways, but Ted, we're having a request. If you can please just put your contact information for those online and then also leave us some information for anybody that's here so that they can ask their questions that they have to you directly as well. So if you can just put it in the chat there when you're able to. Yes, he will be leaving his contact information. Thank you, Ted, for your time and coming out and staying with us all this time. Okay, so moving on to community concerns, and we are going to limit that to a minute so that we can continue on the agenda. And if I have somebody take minutes, please. Thank you. Okay. Community concerns. If we have anybody in person, please, you can start forming a line here at the mic. And then online, if you can just raise your hand so we can call upon you. Okay, go ahead. Just state your name for the record.
Hi, I'm Kevin McClintock. Live up on Noholio Road. And I just wanted to find out, Tiana, I sent you the email about that 20-bed detox facility at Makaha Gateway. And you indicated we couldn't get on the agenda today, but possibly maybe in May. So will you be writing a letter to that company asking them to come and do a presentation similar to what Rise did so we can see what's going to be going in there? Or how can we get that company to come here and do a presentation?
They would have to directly contact the chair to be. So if you can send me that information and then.
Yeah, I sent you their application.
Okay.
And I sent you the letter, the certificate of
So
need.
it would be a request from them, or if you're requesting for something to be.
Well, people in the community, I was speaking for other people, I shouldn't, but there's questions that what's going to be there and how's it going to be managed and security. So it would be appropriate for somebody to have the company come here and present it, because at the time of their application, it was during COVID. And the state told me they did 2 public notices but is that adequate notification for a neighborhood during COVID to do two public notices, or should they come here and present it? Because that's kind of a bad area over there at Cornet. So would you be willing to write a letter, or could I write a letter and have you sign over it and send it to them?
So we can't do that as a board.
Yeah.
If we participate in that as an individual, we can. As a board, we have to bring it to committees and then to board for us to have a discussion and then vote.
Okay.
Yes.
So I could send them a letter as a citizen asking to bring it here.
Mhm.
Of course, I have no authority over them, but.
Right.
Okay, so I'll dig into it some more and let you know. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for that information. Any other community concerns online? And please don't, our contact information is online. Please feel free to reach out to us so that we can try and help and address your concerns as well. Anybody else? Okay. Okay. Okay, so we're moving on to agenda item number 8. So Mayor Blangiardi, your rep, is John online or? Oh, sorry, hold on, we can't really hear you. Hi, Don.
Hi, can you hear me, Chair?
Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you. So I'll keep it short. The mayor's town halls have begun, and there's one coming up. Well, there's one coming up each week, but I think you might be interested on May 2nd, Thursday at 7 p.m. at Nana Ikapono Elementary School. The mayor and his team will be there. And then to address this issue of the Kea'au development, I think I need more clarification, but we understood it as regarding concerns raised by a resident installing barriers along Farrington Highway abutting Kea'au Beach Park. DPP doesn't cover that. It would be DPR and HPD, but if this is not the correct issue, please let me know and I can have more research done on the issue. And then secondly, I think Member Crab had asked about recent shooting concerns above the property at Pokai Ikena Way. We would need the exact address or TMK of the property in order to provide a fuller answer. So if we could get more information or details, I'd be happy to go back and get some better answers for you. And that's all I have, but I'm here to answer any other questions that the board or the community has.
Okay, Board Member Perry, I see your hand up.
Hi, Don. Thank you for joining us tonight. The concern I just want to make mention is about how the mayor and the governor is really ramping up housing, and hopefully the mayor is not trying to cut corners in DPP to expedite the permitting process. And is the city able to handle all this growth of are they equipped for the infrastructure? Do they have adequate infrastructure for the homes and these upcoming projects of developing thousands and thousands of homes? So that's my concern. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mahalo. Any other board members, questions? Don, I do have some questions, but I will forward them in an email.
Okay.
For the sake of time, but thank you so much for attending.
Thank you.
We appreciate you. Okay, moving on to Councilwoman Andrea Tupola. So she was here present in the room. And I know she has Bill 57 and 58 coming up. I'm just gonna look at the packet she left. No. Okay, so she has Resolution 24-82, and this is mayor's approval is required for any charter amendment proposed by council at a general election held in a year ending in 4 or 8. guys, if you guys would like to go onto our city website and view this bill 24-82, there's a lot of literature that we might want to familiarize ourselves with regarding that bill. The next resolution, resolution is 24-81. Contested case hearing held before the city's planning commission on February 7th, 2024. Proposed findings of facts, conclusions of law, decision and order were submitted by interested parties for the commission's deliberation, and a decision on the ENV's request for an extension is expected by March 28th, 2024. Another resolution is 24-50, 24-50. And this is regarding Ocean Safety Division of the Department of Emergency Services. Shall serve as the Chief of Department of Ocean Safety from January 1st, 2025, subject to removal by the Ocean Safety Commission pursuant to Section 6-03. Guys, I'm just reading the first paragraph, but there's a lot of literature for you guys to go take a look at, as that one was stapled backwards, I think. Okay. Initiating amendments to a revised charter of the City and County of Honolulu 1973 as amended relating to the establishment of Department of Ocean Safety. So recognizes that ocean safety is a public safety necessity for an island society like that of City and County of Honolulu. So again, something that we might want to take a look at, 24-50, 24-50. And also, if you have a hard time looking for that, please contact Councilwoman's office. And then she has advertisement. We need your help to stop illegal game rooms in our communities. And there is a city council meeting tomorrow, April 3rd. And this is bills 57 and 58. Bill 57 allows DPP to impose $1,000 in fines a day up to $150,000 in total, and allows city attorneys to take legal action on landlords who allow game rooms on their property. Bill 58 allows HPD officers in cooperation with DPP to serve penalties for building code, fire code, and land use ordinance violations against game room landlords. So that's a brief synopsis, but that hearing is tomorrow, City Council. Annual read aloud day, honorary certificates, things that council member has done in, and then I just gonna mention the last thing, community cleanup. It is on April 27th, and again, you can call council member's office 768-5001. Okay, so that's councilwoman's office. Board of Water Supply, sorry. Christopher Sugimoto, I think I seen you online.
I am here, Chair.
Hi, aloha. Thank you, Chris, for waiting.
Hi, mahalo everyone. I'm Chris Sugimoto from the Honolulu Board of Water Supply. I would like to share my screen real fast. Shucks, start sharing. Okay, so for this month's monthly report, there were 2 water main breaks last month. First one was on March 26th. It was an 8-inch cast iron, and the address was 84-665 Lahaina Street. The second one was the very next day, March 27th. It was also an 8-inch cast iron, and it was 86-193 Kavili Street. So tonight's general water announcements. The topic is Detected Leak Week. It's from April 14th to the 20th. So it's time to chase down and repair those pesky leaks. The BWS has once again partnered with Hardware Hawaii for the annual Detected Leak Week campaign, Sunday, April 14th through Saturday, April 20th. This campaign is an annual reminder to check your plumbing fixtures and irrigation systems for leaks. One of the most common leaks is a leaky toilet, which is usually caused by a worn out or faulty flapper. You can learn more about leak detection and win prizes at our in-person event on Wednesday, April 17th from 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Tamarind Park, Bishop Square in downtown Honolulu. You can find out more information on our website at www.boardofwatersupply.com. That's the end of my report. Does anyone have any questions or comments for BWS?
Mahalo, Chris. We'll actually be forwarding any questions that we might have via email.
Great.
We are going to move along on the agenda. So 8.4, U.S. Army Garrison. We have Lieutenant Colonel Patrick Yoon.
Hello, everyone.
Good evening, Madam Chair, honorable board members. I'm Lieutenant Colonel Patrick Yoon for the record, and I am a representative of the United States Army Hawaii. I have two talking points for the community. First is our monthly April job fair announcement. So this time it'll be held on April 18th at Honolulu Airport Hotel. It begins at 8:30 a.m. and ends at 2 p.m. That is open to the public, and there are plenty of jobs open this coming month around. So that is open for community members who are interested in applying. Again, that's April 18th at the Honolulu Airport Hotel, beginning at 8:30 a.m. and 2 p.m., ending at 2 p.m. The second one is there's a prescribed burn up at Schofield, and that's just for awareness. That is to at their training range complex. The prescribed burn is one of the most effective tools in managing the spread of wildfires and enhances the protection of endangered plants and animals by reducing vegetative ground fuels that would otherwise be consumed by wildfire. So if you see something around there, that's there's a prescribed burn for that ahead of another train that's coming up. Again, that's for awareness, and I'll send this to the community chair so that it can be
Mahalo.
put out.
Thank you so much for being here. And then moving right on to U.S. Navy, Victor Flint and Danny. Danny going first? Okay, go ahead, Danny.
Aloha Chair, aloha community. Real quick, the Navy Closure Task Force assumed authority of the Red Hill facility last week. That was 28th of March. Their focus will be on the closure and long-term environmental remediation of that area. This month, the Navy will begin its extended drinking water monitoring program. This is a voluntary program that the Navy started. We'll have more details on that as they get the program rolling. But that's what I have for this evening, and I'll turn this over to Uncle Vic.
Thank you, Brother Danny. Victor Flint, Naval Facilities. March 21st, we had our Huaka'i, Waianae Neighborhood Board, Nanakuli Neighborhood Board, Ma'o and Waianae Moku Kupuna Council were all on board and attended. We saw the focus was the Waianae Coast Emergency Access Route, the road, Kolikoli Pass, and some cultural sites as well. The Huaka'i went very well. In some parts, it was very emotional. It was really neat. And I hope everybody got an eye full because you guys are the ones that make policy. Now, Pearl Harbor is going to have historic boat tours coming up in May. Check out Pearl Harbor from a different perspective. So the focus right now is community and legislative leadership, but I'm sure other groups can attend as well. I have a point of contact. His name is Jim Newman. Come see me and I'll give you all the contact info. And last but not least is Kolikoli Pass Road is clear and passable in case of a declared emergency. That's all I have. Are there any questions for Brother Danny or myself?
Mahalo. We will ask questions via online or connect with you offline if we have any questions. Mahalo nui again for attending. We're moving right along to agenda item 9.1, Congresswoman Joe Takuda. I didn't see anyone. Okay, so Governor's Rep, is it Diamond?
Hi, yes, aloha, I'm here.
Aloha. You can go ahead if you can stay within a minute or so so we can. Thank you.
Yeah, no, of course. Aloha Chair and aloha community members. My name is Diamond Badajos and I'm the Public Information Officer at the Department of Hawaiian Homelands, but serving here tonight as the Governor's Rep. I don't have anything to share, so yes, very brief, but happy to entertain any questions via email should you have them. Mahalo.
Mahalo. Thank you
Chair.
for being present. Yes,
Chair,
go ahead,
sorry,
board member.
sorry, Chair. I just wanted to ask Diamond because I asked Stacy last month if she could get back with me about if the governor still was on his agenda to have Lahaina still be the first smart city. That was the question that I asked Stacy last month, and so I just was wondering if Stacy had given that information to Diamond to share that because yeah, that's to me that's very important.
Sure, yeah,
Thank you.
mahalo for the question. That wasn't shared with me for tonight, but I can certainly take that back to the governor's office and, relay it for the next meeting.
Hey Diamond, since I asked Stacy last month, is there a way that you guys could expedite that answer or that response to Chair Wilbur?
Please.
Okay, sure
Thank
thing.
Thank you.
Noted, thank you.
Board member Perry.
Hi, thank you for joining us tonight. I just
Thank
want
you
to
for
know
having me.
so the state got money from the federal transportation money to fix what needs to be fixed in the transportation pipeline. The disaster at Maryland Bridge, is any of money that were earmarked for Hawaii going to be diverted to help with that cost? That's the question to come back next month. Thank you.
Okay, mahalo, thank you.
Mahalo Diamond for participating. Question? We have one more question.
Hi, Diamond. Really quickly. So last meeting, I asked Stacey for updates on the DLNR issues that's been happening up Waianae Valley. It's been increasingly showing that we've been asking questions and not getting, prompt answers, which is totally fine. But if you guys need help with getting the answers or need to just let us know that you don't know offline, please feel free to contact us and just let us know whatever you guys need help with, because we've been waiting for a while, for months, actually. Thank you.
Understood, thank you. Yeah, I do have a prepared statement from the DLNR if I have time to share that. I can read it verbatim.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so the DLNR has very limited jurisdiction and authority on private property, as DLNR do-care officers do not patrol private property. This is because hunting on private property in Hawaii is allowed with the permission of the private property owner, who has the right to regulate hunting activities on their privately owned property. HPD has primary jurisdiction on the private property, and we will continue to support HPD and be available as secondary should they request our assistance. For clarification, DLNR do-care did not commit to appear at the neighborhood board meeting on this matter and would defer to HPD to address any issues related to enforcement or agricultural crimes on private property. DLNR do-care, along with DOFA and other state agencies, recently attended a legislative informational briefing related to agriculture crimes, and relevant information was shared with area legislatures and community members present.
Thank you so much. That's all I needed. Mahalo.
Thank you, mahalo.
Okay, and then mahalo Diamond.
Mahalo kay Mana.
State
Mahalo.
Senator Miley Shimabukuro.
Good evening. Just a few things to share. We did receive Sonoy Marfil's governor's message for the confirmation to the Hawaiian Homes Commission. And so her hearing is scheduled for April 11, 1 p.m. And it's her number, it's GM 746. If you want to testify, you can get a free account on capital.hawaii.gov. You can also send testimony. You can email it to me if you need help, or call my office if you need assistance with getting your testimony submitted. You can participate either in person or on Zoom. Had a recent meeting with DOT, the Navy, and the city about Pa'akea Road. In light of the tragedy of Lahaina, transportation officials have heightened concerns about communities in risk of fire, and with only one way in, one way out. And happy to report that DOT estimates that in about 1 year, they should be able to use the funds allocated to open the locked part of Pa'akea Road. There's an additional 3.45 million in fiscal year 25 in the current draft of HB 1800, the budget. And DOT believes that they have sufficient funding to open that Pa'akea's portion. And they are going to, DOT and other officials are going to talked to the feds and the military about then upgrading Lulule Naval Road, which the Pa'akea opens out onto. For that, we will need additional funding for that portion. But happy to report about the Pa'akea being opening, hopefully about a year. And other than that, I did email my report in the chat, and let me know if you have any questions.
Mahalo, Senator. Thank you for attending, and thank you for being there last month too. I'm sorry we couldn't get to you guys. Rep Cedric Gates.
Aloha,
Yeah.
Chair. Aloha, board
Question.
members.
Aloha.
I put my newsletter inside of the chat so you can take a look at that. I believe we emailed it prior to the meeting. Just highlighting some of the things that we've been working on. We got the Pokai Bay funding released from the governor, 5.7 million to go to repairing the 3 jetties at Pokai Bay. This is something Senator Shimabukuro and I have been working on for quite some time, but we finally got the commitment from DLNR to actually encumber the funds and utilize it to the community's liking. So I'm excited to finally get that going. What the process looks like for that is they will, since the funding has been released by the governor, they will put out a request for proposals. The request for proposals will come back, they'll select somebody. That person will then go and do the consulting for the jetty walls to see community input and basically get all the information possible for community to make sure that it's done in the way that we want it. The other highlight was that we were able to get funding released for Waianae Elementary. Speaking to the principal as well as the residents in the area, traffic has been a huge issue, as well as safety for our students attending Waianae Elementary with the drop off and pickups. And so this money will go towards improving that area for drop off and pickup at Waianae Elementary School. And they're gonna basically push back portions of the current landscaping right now to accommodate for more space for people to pick up and drop off their kids. So that's exciting. We also recognize Donna Soriana as the 2024 Leeward District Nanakuli Waianae Complex Area Teacher of the Year. She's also a teacher at Waianae Elementary, so it's definitely a great representation of what Waianae can produce. With that being said, we have on this last page information regarding invasive species. As the chair of agriculture and food systems, we have been working diligently to make sure that we get the appropriate funding, as well as to make sure that the departments that need to be on board are willing to administer the funding and get us the help that we deserve. On that note, I want to just shout out Waianae Comprehensive Health Center with their New Now movement and all of the work that they're doing to preserve the genetics of all of the indigenous coconut or neo in our community. And I'll leave it at that. Thank you, Chair.
Mahalo. If we have any questions, we'll forward it offline. And then just quick for board committee reports. Transportation is every first Thursday. Hawaiian Affairs is not currently scheduled. Parks is every second Tuesday. Housing every third Tuesday, and housing and education is together. And then Betsy is every third Thursday, and that will be added to the agenda for next month. And then announcements, our regular meeting is next month, May 7th, Tuesday at 6:30. So that will also be adjusted 6:30. And then 11.2 announcement on April 30th, single lane closure extension at Makaha Bridge 3. So that's just a heads up for commuting purposes. If you guys are going to be in that area come April 30th, then expect the single lane closure. And then community consciousness and values, be part of the solution, not the problem. Let's put unity back in community. And do we have any other community announcements? There is a bunch of community announcements actually. But if you guys can take a look at our West Side stories, they're well listed there. There's a lot of community events with Waianae and Markaha. There's just a lot of opportunities out in our community. And we will try to get that out more so next month. But other than that, we adjourn tonight's meeting at 9:08. Thank you all for attending. Have a wonderful month of April.